Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. Listen, I just got done watching the Republican Convention, and I wanted to speak a little bit about that, just kind of give you some thoughts on at least a couple of the speakers that I found to be really exceptional. But before I do that, I want to say to the people that are in New Orleans, or hell, Louisiana and Mississippi tonight, my hearts and prayers are going out for you, especially those people in New Orleans. God, I hope them levees hold. It's 7 years ago. 7 years ago, well, we know what happened. Katrina hit and a lot of people perished, and I just hope we don't have a repeat of that. I have loved ones in New Orleans, much like I did 7 years ago during Katrina. So I'm really hoping for the best, for sure. Anyway, tonight was the opening night of the Republican Convention, and well, you know what, before I start that, listen, there's a reason why I'm at my Facebook page. I've had a ton of messages and comments from people saying I can't find your videos on Facebook. Listen, I know it can get a little confusing, but here, I'm going to show you in a nutshell. We're at my Facebook page right now, and you'll see right here, just to the right of the eagle, there's Colonel Richard Hunter. Right underneath that, there's a box that says Friends. Amy Catron. Big shout out to her. And then over here, there's Photos. Then there's Map, and then there's Like. Okay, or likes. What you're looking for is photos. Now, I know it should say photos/videos, but it doesn't. So anyway, you click on photos. And this gives you the albums. So there's 5 albums here, okay? But you don't want the albums. The video is not going to be found in the albums. Above this right here with the deer mount with the Mad Bad Voodoo camo hat, right above that is albums, and then there's a 5, which means there's 5 albums, and then videos and 4. Okay, so there's 4 videos. If you click that link, it's going to take you to my videos. And right now, like I said, there's 4 of them. President Chester Alan Arthur, Lessons from Empire State Building Shooting in New York, Drudging Things Up, and Voodoo Politics. Okay, so that's how you do it. So if you wanted to go to the video that I was, that was in my contest, right there you are. And voila. Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. Okay, there's going to be... Okay, so that's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just bounce off of this since it's mine anyway. Big shout out to Bradley Wolf-Patrick, a very, very, very big supporter of mine, Native American extraordinaire, a warrior, deep down inside, just a warrior of a man. Okay, listen. Voodoo Politics. I love that graphic. By the way, I might as well give a big shout out to USNER Doc, who... This, if you don't know, this is the one side of the ammo box. He did one side with Voodoo Politics, and the other side with Mad Bad Voodoo, and that's the ammo box that you have seen a million times on my bench. But USNER Doc actually crafted that up for me, so big shout out to USNER Doc. Okay, Republican National Convention, pretty awesome. Listen. I have to say right now, I'm going to get this out, and I know you guys hear me harping on a Cole all the time, but I'm going to tell you something. This convention tonight cemented for me that the ticket that supports Cole in the United States is this ticket, the Republican ticket. Twice, 2 different speakers mentioned Cole. The first one was Rick Santorum. And Rick Santorum talked about how his grandfather came as an immigrant to this country in 1920 and worked in the coal mines till he was 72 years old. Here's a man, he was former senator from Pennsylvania, but here's a man that understands the importance of coal. He understands what coal miners go through. He understands that coal puts food on the table and pays the bills. He also understands the broader spectrum of the coal industry, which transcends the miners and touches so many lives. It's a cottage industry that is basically built up around coal and actually stretches all across the country. So when Obama started his war on coal, it just goes to show his sheer incompetence, because he started that war on coal to appease his left-wing greenie nut jobs. Okay, so basically he appeased a handful of people and destroyed the economic lives of untold amounts. Tens of thousands of people. So, he was the first one. Rick Santorum was the first one to mention coal, and then, of course, Ann Romney mentioned coal. That she is a descendant, a granddaughter of coal miners. And, you know, as a grandson of a Kentucky coal miner, I can appreciate that. And I have to say that and I think these people were speaking loud and clear to everybody in this country that's a working man and working woman, that they're for you. They have your back. Unlike Obama, who is literally trying to destroy jobs right and left and has been very successful. You know, I was trying to think the other day what kind of success, you know, when it comes to the Democratic National Convention, what kind of a success is he going to harp on? And to be honest with you, the only thing that I've seen Obama be actually successful at is destroying jobs and harming people, harming lives, harming working men and women. So, yeah, you want to talk about a war on women? Look at the unemployment rate. In fact, you want to talk about a war on women? Why don't you ask Sarah Palin how that war on women's going? Or maybe Michelle Bachmann. You know? Yeah, there's a war on women, all right. It's just not what the Democrats are trying to tell you. So anyway, I really liked Santorum's speech. The other speeches were decent. And then, of course, you had the keynote speaker, Chris Christie. Now, listen. Just for the record, I want to make this clear. I think Rick Santorum gave the best speech tonight. Okay, I really do. Having said that, Chris Christie is a bigger-than-life human being in a lot of ways, in more than one way. He's just a mountain of a man who brings a ginormous personality to any event. When he comes in, his personality fills the room, and you can't take that away from him. He's special in that regard. Now, listen, I'm not a complete fan of his politics. If you want to know the truth, I don't think he's a friend of the Second Amendment. I really don't. He's got a lot of work to do on that. But I also give slack to those governors who are governing for what you can only describe as communist states. You know, I mean, to some degree, they have to be able to be electable. And if you're in Massachusetts or you're in New Jersey, you know, and you're a Republican, you know, so how he would govern on a national ticket or national level, I have no idea. But I do think he needs to work on that. And I think if he's smart, he will reevaluate his position on gun ownership. But though, like I said, I think he has to, on a certain level, pander to his constituents. Now, I know that some people will say, well, you're pandering, what the? Well, you know, listen, you have to dwell in reality here. All right, New Jersey, come on. It is what it is. What do you say? There's 700,000 more Democrats in New Jersey than there are Republicans. So, you know, it's not like he can, you know, it's not like he can run for governor of New Jersey with an extreme, hardcore, right-wing stance. It's just not going to, you know, that platform's not going to get him elected. It's just the realities of it. And I know that there are people that are going to say, well, if you stay true to your values, you know, you're going to be electable. Well, in the real world, it's not true. I'm just saying. So anyway, so yeah, there you have it, and that's really, I mean, you know, I think that Ann Romney did a fine job with her speech. I never expect a lot from the first ladies or first ladies in waiting or first lady wannabes, whatever you want to call her. I don't expect anything from Michelle Obama, and I don't expect anything from Mitt Romney's wife. To be honest with you, they're not who I'm voting for. Although I will tell you, I think it was important for her to be able to get one thing out, and I think she did a fine job of it. And that is that when they started out in a basement apartment. You know, in a lot of ways, he did have some advantages in life, but the truth of the matter is that he worked for what he had. You know, he did. He worked for what he had. Yes, his father was who he was, but his father was also a self-made man. You know, so, you know, I'm not going to try to say that Mitt Romney had it hard, but, you know, the fact they lived in an apartment, they went, you know, I mean, they did the things that a lot of young people do, especially college kids do, and they made it work. So I think that was an important message for her to get out, you know, that she came from humble roots herself, and, you know, like I said, descending from a coal mining bloodline, which, you know, it means a lot to me personally, because I do as well. And, you know, I think that maybe connect with your average Joe, who may have been brainwashed into thinking that you know, he was just a silver spoon baby, and so was she, and they've lived the fat life, and the rest of us have had to struggle. So, you know, I'm not saying that he's had it real hard, but what I'm saying is that I think a lot of times people have this misconception. You know, he's made, I think they said, well, CNBC made it sound, or excuse me, MSNBC made it sound a whole lot bigger by saying he made $250 million in his lifetime. You know, but $250 million is a long way from a billion. You know, just saying. Anyway, speaking of MSNBC, I don't know if I mentioned this or not. I don't think I have. I enjoy, whenever I watch things like this, I always enjoy watching the commentary from the left. First of all, it makes me laugh. And second of all, it just confirms to me what a bunch of political hacks these people are. Literally shills for the DNC. The propaganda wing for the DNC is NBC News and all their affiliates. Yeah, it's kind of a joke. So I kept it on for the most part. 90% of the time I was watching it, I actually kept it on MSNBC just to hear them in between speakers. They would come out guns a-blazing. It was like, you know, this is a news organization, and they're literally giving the Democratic response to each person's speech at the convention. It was, you know, it's surreal is what it is. It is just surreal. And you can say what you want about Fox, but you watch their coverage when it comes time for the Democrats. It will be so much more fair and balanced. If you open your eyes and keep an open mind and listen to the pundits, and I guarantee you that there will be more than a few Democrats speaking up, like Juan Williams, on that. So I mean, and Republicans, both sides. It's not. You know, I look at MSNBC and it makes me sick, truthfully. I don't know why NBC, they should even call it a news division, because it's an absolute joke. Smartest thing Microsoft did was cut ties with them. And I think it's next year that they can actually drop the MS. So I don't know what, you know, MSNBC is going to call themselves. NBC News Light, or not even Light. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole another video. Anyway, listen, that's all I got. No sense in keeping this up any longer than it is. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think. If you watched the convention, who you thought was the great speaker. I give it to Santorum. Although, you know, Chris Christie's a booming. He's a booming voice. He's a big personality. And if you were to say you thought he was the best speaker tonight, I probably wouldn't argue it. You know, but for me, Santorum all the way. Santorum all the way. Interestingly enough, I said I was going to end this. You know what? I'll leave it for another one. I'll see you later.